All right, so let's get going. So welcome to Jeet Kune Do. So those of you who don't know, Jeet Kune Do is way of the intersecting fist. Very popularized by Bruce Lee. Some of you may have heard of him. Now, there's a couple different aspects to Jeet Kune Do. There's a philosophical aspect, of which is actually more familiar to people. And then there is the physical aspect, or the motions or the techniques involved with the art. So there's a lot of confusion and misinformation and conflicting information out there regarding Jeet Kune Do. So I'm going to go through a little primer on what we consider original or Junfan Jeet Kune Do. Junfan is Bruce's name in Cantonese. It means little dragon. And it's basically his expression, Bruce's expression of Jeet Kune Do, of his fighting method. So that's not the greater umbrella of Jeet Kune Do, which is the philosophy, all the stuff that gets quoted in the media, books, films, things like that. That's about a bigger picture of how to live your life and how to apply martial principles to the way you live your life, as far as the way you treat other people and obstacles and goal setting and things of that nature. So we're just going to focus on the physical elements of this. So in general, Jeet Kune Do is known for having a broad philosophy of take what is useful and discard what's useless. People tend to take that to the extreme, and they think anything you do that you like, that works for you, is Jeet Kune Do, and everything else that you don't like, you throw away, and that's Jeet Kune Do. It's not. That's a fine way to apply the philosophy, but what we're working on here are the principles of the physical movement. So there's 4 principles that we want to cover today. Simplicity, economy of motion or efficiency. It's the second one. The third one is longest weapon to the closest target. And the fourth one is always thinking of hitting. Okay, so let's cover a couple of these as we go through. Okay, so the first thing, we're going to establish our stance. So you can start off, feet about hip or shoulder width apart. Take one step forward like you're taking a walk. Boom, right there. I'm going to step forward with my right because I'm right-handed, as are most people. So this is what's called a strong side or dominant stance. This is what characterizes Jeet Kune Do as being a little bit weird or different from most martial arts. Most martial arts stand in what's called an orthodox lead. So the non-dominant stance is forward. My left hand is forward. My left foot is forward. I set up my opponent with a jab, something fast, and then I try to knock them out with the backhand or the back leg. Martial arts such as Muay Thai, karate, kickboxing utilize this framework. MMA, but Jeet Kune Do, we're thinking in terms of the strong side forward. So again, one step forward with my dominant stance. My hands are up, shoulders are loose, elbows down, protecting my rib cage, chin slightly tucked. I'm going to turn sideways so you can get another angle of this. Okay, chin is slightly tucked, but eyes are looking forward at my opponent or my partner. The rear hand is protecting the most important part, my face. The other hand is slightly ahead and below my rear hand, just like this, okay? So this is my fighting stance or my Baizhang position. My heel of the back leg is lifted as if I'm ready to spring forward and advance. Moving forward is a huge component of Jeet Kune Do. There is a fencing element to the stance and the strategy, and that's where this comes from, okay? So let's start off, a couple basic techniques. One step forward, I'm in my Baizhang or my fighting stance. First thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to practice loosening up by moving around the room a little bit. Simple rule, whatever direction I move that foot first. That's closest to that direction, then I move the other one. So if I'm moving forward, since my right foot is in front of my left foot, I take a step with my right, and then I bring the other one right after it. Okay, so I'm stepping and I'm shuffling. When I go backwards, back foot moves first, followed by the front foot. Moving to the right, right foot, left foot. Moving to the left foot, right foot. Okay, so just go through this a couple times just to get loosened up. Forward and back and right and left. One more time, forward and back and right and left. Okay, so we do work both leads. In a real street fight, Bruce was all about practicality. In a street fight, I don't get to choose my lead. Oftentimes the circumstances dictate what my lead's going to be. So I'm going to do this in the left side. Heel up on the right leg, foot in front on the left, hands up in reverse position, left hand slightly in front, advancing forward. Left foot, going back, right foot, left foot. Going to the left foot, right foot, going to the right foot, left foot. Okay? And we're going to switch stances. It's called a replacement step. My back foot is going to come, stand right next to my lead foot. My lead foot's going to step back, and I'm in the other lead. So let's do this a couple times. Step and switch, step and switch, step and switch, step and switch. All right. So moving on, some of the basics of hitting. This is called a JKD straight lead punch. For ease of communication, we'll just casually refer to this as a jab, which is a straight punch with a lead hand. There is a difference though. A typical jab in most martial arts and fighting systems employ the idea that it's there as a measuring device. So I want to know how far my opponent is. I want to see what they're going to do as a reaction. And I'm setting up my strategy for how I'm going to attack my opponent. JKD, I'm thinking of ending a fight as fast as I can and then getting the heck out of dodge. So I'm going to fire my punch. I'm going to fire with weight transfer, committed forward. I want to do as much damage as I can. I'm not setting up for anything. I want to fight for as little time as possible and then get out. So as I do this, my punch is going to move first. My hand moves first. I'm driving with my hips and my body. I'm pushing off the back leg. The hand goes to the target. The punch will stay vertical. Okay? I'm going to drive my way forward onto the front leg. Okay? I'm going to hit through the target and come back to a relaxed position. Okay? So when you do this, you want to stay as loose and as relaxed as possible until you hit the target and you come right back. So you're going from a point of what Bruce used to refer to as stillness. I'm relaxed, almost meditative, just hanging out, hitting, and coming right back to my target position. So one more time from the front. If you'll notice, I'm going to punch right at the camera. As I do, I make impact. Then I follow through naturally with a natural ellipse, bringing the momentum right back to my stance. My center line, right on the inside of my lead arm, right on the inside of my rear arm. I punch, I follow through, and I come back, okay? So a couple times, punch, follow through, punch and follow through, punch and follow through, okay? You can exhale if you'd like. Those of you who have prior martial arts experience might be familiar with this as a kiai in karate or taekwondo. Loud exhales are very common in mixed martial arts and Muay Thai training. Jeet Kune Do, it's something that in general you want to try to eliminate that habit as you advance, because oftentimes it can be a telegraphic movement or motion that someone can pick up on and know you're about to try to punch them or kick them. If you breathe out and then throw a punch, a lot of times they'll see something coming, and as Bruce again mentioned, they shouldn't see a punch, they should just feel one, okay? So we're gonna practice on the lead straight a couple times. Then you're gonna add the cross or the rear straight punch. So I drive in, vertical punch, right toward the target, hit through, other hand staying nice and high, protect my face. I'm following through with that natural ellipse, and I return back to my ready position. Throw the cross, come right back. Throw the cross, come right back. Side angle, driving with my feet, driving through, the knees coming slightly together, transferring my weight forward, this other hand pulling the shoulder back after the punch launches. I hit, and I return back to my ready stance. Hit, come back, hit, come back, hit and come back. Okay? If you're practicing this at home and following along, please be cautious that you don't hyperextend your arm on the punch. I'm only extending about 80 to 90% of my reach, okay? And I'm coming back. If I miss, if I punch at my opponent and they dodge and I miss the punch, I don't want to injure myself because I hyperextend my arm. So a couple of times on the cross. Okay, we're gonna add this together. It's a simple straight lead combination. So jab, cross combination, okay, just to keep it easy. So jab, pull the jab back, launch the cross, and return back to your ready position. It's just a couple reps of this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay? Same thing on the other lead, right? So let's move on to the next basic technique. So this is called a straight kick. Very simple. Some people call it a front snap kick, a groin kick. It's all the same thing. So rear leg coming to replace the position of the front leg. It's called a pendulum movement. Moving the back leg in, lead leg straight up the pipe. Hitting the groin, lead arm swinging down to bring the hip up. Weight shifting forward. Notice my upper body is going backward. Do not lean backward on purpose. Allow the hips going forward to create that position. If I'm in a car at a red light and I peel out, I don't slam my head into the back of the headrest on purpose, right? The car moves forward, my head stays where it is, and then the car moves forward, but it looks like I'm moving my head back. Same principle here. As I throw this groin kick, pendulum kick, and I return back. I want this to be a two-step process when I'm a beginner. Step and then kick and return to stance. As I become more advanced, I want that to be a single movement. Drop in and drop right back. Kick, return. Kick and return. Okay? Same thing, opposite lead. Moving on. What's called the JKD hook kick. It's a round kick in every other art. So again, the nomenclature is a little bit odd for this art, but you know, once you see it, it's easy to remember. Pendulum movement, round kick. Again, street and self-defense orientation dictates that we don't kick any higher than we need to. So no fancy head kicks, despite what you might see in Bruce's films. I'm going either to the knee, to the groin, or to the shin, low line attacks. So I'm gonna bring in with my pendulum. I'm gonna bring this leg straight up as if I'm throwing the groin kick, but I'm gonna pivot and drop my weight in, and I'm kicking what would be either the outside of my opponent's lead knee, if they're standing with their left foot forward, or if I'm going to the inside, I would try to blow out the knee on the inside line, or go to the thigh or the groin as my possible targets. Okay? So I'm gonna be here, arm again, swinging, creating momentum. Other hand staying nice and high to protect the face. Pendulum coming in, kick coming over. You notice my leg on the pendulum leg is turning and opening my hips up, enabling me to generate power and recovery. Hit, hit, and hit. Okay? Returning right back to balance in my Baijiang stance. Okay? I don't have access to my heavy bag because I have my training partner here tied up, but having something like this will enable me to make sure that my kicks are accurate. Okay? Power obviously is very important, but for Jeet Kune Do, speed and accuracy are actually a slightly higher priority because I'm looking for vulnerable targets. Knees, groin, throat, eyes, ears, parts of the neck, okay? As opposed to center mass. Fine for a sport fight, not so much for a street fight. So again, I go for my JKD hook kick, low line round kick, lead leg round kick, whatever helps you remember the movement. Back, right back to my starting position. I kick, and I come right back. Targeting would either, I'm barefoot now, but in the street fight, I'd probably have shoes on. So I'm thinking of hitting with the shoelaces of my shoe. If I happen to be closer, I can hit with the lower part of my shin as my weapon, like they do in Muay Thai. Depends on the range and the distance to my opponent, my target. Okay. So last technique of the day. Let me show you the front view first. Again, quick review. Groin kick or lead straight kick, JKD hook kick or round kick. So straight, hook kick. Straight, hook kick. Okay. Last technique of the day. Let's work on the low line shin attack. Pendulum, legs coming straight out and down, driving into the shin or right below the kneecap, okay? Driving my weight down and in, sinking my elevation so I can drive my weight into my partner's lead target. Down and in, down and in, down and in, Okay, I'm aiming for, again, their kneecap or right below their kneecap, shin, ankle, if possible. Again, the smaller the target is, the harder it is to hit. So you usually want to aim for something you can reach. You can also go to the thigh or the quad area as well. A little more risky though, because if you're off, you're gonna leave yourself a little bit more vulnerable. You're basically trying to distract the person or jam their momentum as they come in. Whoops, hang on, my battery died. Whoop, you can edit that out. So those are the basic techniques: straight lead punch, cross, straight kick or lead leg groin kick, hook kick or lead leg round kick, low line shin attack, or low side kick. Those are the foundational movements. We have other techniques: lead heel kick, oblique kick, inverted kick, etc. Once we get into the closer ranges, that's when the other tools come in. So as a quick preview of what's to come, from this range, I have my kicks available to me. Closer, I have my punches available. I'm moving into boxing range. When I get closer, I'm in what's called trapping range or modified Wing Chun range. So from here, I'm punching, but I'm close enough where my arm can be in what's referred to as a bent arm position. This enables me to drive in with what's called a Jeet Kune Do or straight blast, chain punching as it's known in Wing Chun. Here, utilizing my ability to trap or remove any barriers that my opponent will give me so that I can access the various targets. Beyond that, again, you're moving into elbow range. Knees are also an option. If you know how to grapple or counter grapple, if the other person knows how to grapple, that's when all of those different tools would come into play. But the key here, as I mentioned in the top of the video, always thinking of hitting. Okay? I don't want to wrestle with a wrestler. I'm not trying to outthrow a judoka or another trained grappler. I'm always thinking of hitting vital targets, again, eyes, ears, throat, to enable me opportunity to create and control distance so that I can escape and be on my way. Okay? Again, very applicable for self-defense, street fight applications. Not so much when you have a rule set as in combat sports. But again, that was Bruce's emphasis. Okay. All righty, I think we're out of time.
Nice.
Hold on a second.